Last year, there was once a small movie in theaters about puzzle rooms. It sounds boring, but it is actually extremely thrilling. The escape rooms in this movie can even kill people. Having a narrow space, there was also an explosion of humanity to the point of death. Story begins. A player staggered into a room. There are no doors or windows. Walls on all four sides began to gradually close in. Obviously, if he does not quickly find the door, he will be crushed in there. The man was very scared. Based on the clues given, the man discovered that each picture in the room had a person pointing. Is this a hint about the clock hand? This is not 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 2 o'clock. The unlocked password is 4862, but nothing happened yet. The walls continued to narrow. The sofa was crushed. The chandelier crashes down. The man was forced to a small partition, praying for heaven's help. May you release me. But no. The story goes back 3 days ago. 3 people have different personalities and status. An excellent student, a director, and a conman. All 3 people received a parcel. Inside was a black box with a small card. Congratulations on receiving the invitation of the mine escape room. The prize is $10,000. The 3 of them all arrived at the designated location, then discovered there were 3 other players. One guy seems to be a long-time player. He just entered the door and immediately became extremely excited. This is the top suite in the country. If we win, we will definitely have money and reputation. Sometime later, a manager will show you how to play. But everyone waited a long time. Still no one came in. The scammer started to become impatient and went out for a smoke. When he opened the door handle immediately fell off. On it appears a key code. That's right, the game has already begun. As usual, clues of certain cryptography were hidden in the room. Everyone splits up to investigate. An older guy found a screwdriver in a book. The student saw the title of the book as 451 degrees Fahrenheit. 451. She hastily turned the encryption key. But not only did the door not open, but the ceiling of the room glowed red. It's an electric heater. The temperature of the room started to rise. The whole room turned into an oven. The con man was agitated again, taking the fire extinguisher. It's a dummy. The columns in the room also started to increase in temperature. People started to panic. They hastily knocked on the glass door and asked for suggestions from the receptionist. As soon as she opened the glass door, it turned out to be a doll. The temperature in the room continued to rise. The blonde couldn't take it anymore and began to collapse. At this dangerous time, the student is still reliable. She handed the blonde a glass of water. Discovered one more hint. Lined cups. This time she guessed right. The cup mat on the table is actually a push button. When you press all 6 at the same time, the picture on the wall activates. Behind there is a ventilation tunnel. The director immediately got in first. It was not long since he crawled. He comes across a sealed exit and a screwdriver is needed. The guy who found a screwdriver immediately crawled in to help. The scared blonde was the third to climb in. Now there is a problem. 6 cup liners require 6 hands. Even if you use your feet, at least 2 people must stay. The student quickly thought of it. The glass can be placed on the coaster. A cup filled with water can replace your hand. 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups. The last cup is not enough water. The missing part is the amount of water she drank earlier. In this dangerous moment, the scammer remembers that he has a flask of wine that he always carries with him. They can use alcohol instead of water. The conman and the other guy finally climb into the ventilation pipe at the last second. But, exiting the first room, the 6 of them fell into another one. Some people feel depressed. Wait for them to open door number 2. Greater danger awaits them. Gate number 2 is a frozen place. Everyone had just left the oven. Their bodies still sweating. At this moment, the door of the room closed automatically. They cannot turn back. The temperature started dropping, and it was Arctic. Groups of people quickly split up, looking for clues. The director finds a door, but he needs a key. Another found a fishing rod. The student found a magnet. The scammer went away to smoke and accidentally formed a hole in the ice. Fishing rods, magnets, ice holes. They quickly pulled up the key. The problem is that the key is frozen in a large block of ice. The 4 sides of the ice cube were also firmly closed by metal. It does not break. They can only borrow lighters from this scammer. He cursed and threw the lighter over. One guy took the initiative, but after walking a bit, the ice suddenly cracked beneath him. The others frantically clung to the ice, but no one dared to jump. Anyway, the underground water current swept somewhere they couldn't know. The guy always said it's just a game. Just like that, he becomes the first person eliminated. The 6 of them them were down to only 5. People are dead, lighters are gone. The director suggested using body temperature to thaw the ice. They used their fingers to melt the ice. It wasn't long before the older guy fainted from the cold. The key was finally drawn out by the director. He rushed to open the door, but the door was on the opposite side of the ice. The ice started to explode, once again in a dangerous situation. Luckily, they made it to door number 3. They go to an upside-down bar. Feet stepped on the ceiling. Overhead was a billiards table. The clues continued at present. The director discovered the door, but it was missing a doorknob. The older guy discovered this was an 8-hole billiard table, but on the table was missing the correct 8 ball. He was to go look for a bat, but when he got halfway, he was suddenly pulled back by the conman. It turns out this place is not only reversed, but also a void. Below is a dark abyss. 5 people were clinging to the wall in fear. Not much time, the blonde immediately climbed to the bar, discovered an encryption key. The student leans on a jigsaw puzzle on the wall. She computes a series of numbers, entered but to no avail. At this point, the ceiling continued to drop, leaving only 2 sections remaining. As the student reached for something but her grip slips, the moment she fell, she remembered that this room was turned upside down. If so, then the sequence of numbers is reversed. She called to her and the blonde then tried the reverse digits. As expected, she got the door handle. There is only 1 segment left in the ceiling. The blonde could only cling to the edge of the table to climb over, but it was halfway up the room. The key, which was in her pocket, slips out onto the last segment. The blonde did not hesitate to jump down. In a decisive second, she grabbed the doorknob and threw it to the director. Also at this time, the last piece of ceiling fell. The blonde could only hold an electric cord. Knowing that she had no chance to continue living, she fell. 5 people were left with only 4. The remaining 4 people continued on to the next room, a hospital room. Every bed in the room was a hospital bed they used to lay in, and the medical records show that they are not ordinary people. The student had an airline accident. The uncle had a mining accident. The scammer has had an unexpected traffic accident. The director had an accident at sea with his friend. They are all the lucky ones who survived the accidents. The student finally understood. They are all chosen. Before, they were the luckiest people. Now, as the luckiest people are gathered, who is truly the luckiest of them? The student, who normally has an introverted personality, now also got angry. She knows she really wants to win this game. Can't let the rules of the game manager dictate the game. She took the iron rod to smash every camera in the interior. To continue looking for clues, the director found this to be an extreme challenge. The challenge is related to the heart rate. If the heart rate reaches a certain level, then the door will open. The director was very quick to find a scammer to test, but it was too slow. Next, he tries the older guy. Still not high enough. At this moment, the director was madly holding the defibrillator. He wanted to try it on him. The result is still not as hope. He also died of electrocution. At this time, toxic smoke began to appear. During an emergency, the director suddenly understood. The extreme heart rate is not necessarily high. It can also be low. He took off his shirt, made himself calm. The heart rate dropped. The door indeed opened. The director and the conman left one after another. The student, due to inhaling too much toxic gas, passed out. 4 of them were down to only 2. The other 2 must fight. The conman suspected this path displayed a strong hope of survival. The director, who pushed others to be test subjects, will not be the lucky one to survive. Actually, his hands were always bloody. He killed people during the boat disaster for the only life jacket. At this time, the director did not want to pretend anymore. Yes, but what can you do with me? The doorway of this room is very small. There is only one revolving hatch handle. The 2 men joined forces to turn it, but no one knew that the doorknob was poisonous. To leave, they must find the antidote. The scammer finds the antidote first. The director immediately ran over to take it. While in the struggle, the director died. The scammer successfully escaped. This is the beginning of the movie. The conman had jumped into a room that was relentlessly closing. He decoded the code. The wall continued to close. At a pivotal moment, fortune once again came to the conman. He hid in the fireplace in the room. When the walls stopped moving, the conman quickly climbed out. He ran to a large room. Photos of the 6 of them appeared on the wall. The remaining 5 people have been crossed out. Only the scammer's photo remains bright. At this time, an employee of the room came. As it turns out, this survival was staged long ago. The person really behind it is the richest and most powerful person in the world right now. They go through betting on who will be the final winner. Trick people to play this escape game. Of course, the horse in the racetrack wins, and it still doesn't get the prize. As he just finished talking, suddenly he grabbed the rope and strangled the conman. Luckily, the student had arrived in time. Turns out, she was just pretending to be poisoned. After smashing the camera, she immediately walked over to the gas mask, waiting for the staff to come and clear the body, assaulting and robbing the gun. With the gun, she started to counterattack. The conman and the student become the lucky ones to survive in the end. The story here is probably over, but it is not. This is the surprise. The student took the police back to the scene of the game, but the scene was destroyed cleanly. The ingredients of hallucinogenic drugs are also tested positive in the blood of the scammer. In other words, no one believed their story. At the same time, 4 people died. They are all classified as having unexpected accidents. The director died of a car accident. The first guy was drowned. The blonde died from falling off a cliff. The student suggested the scammer to continue to investigate until the real culprit is caught. Currently, the scammer has become an office worker. He finally agreed. The last scene of the movie, a flight is about to crash. The flight attendant relies on the suggestion of passing through one by one, but in the end, she opened the cockpit door. Still not in time. Failure. Now, lights up. It turned out to be just a test of the game. Survival, 4%. Final, the mysterious person behind said they had to get the student and the conman get on this secret flight. The 2 lucky survivors accidentally stepped into the dead spot again. In this game, someone changed their life, and the life of these people in the eyes of some people is only a card. They never hesitate to keep hitting one more turn. The room can be escaped from, but some evil, there is no escaping.